Here we go. We're getting deep into it now. We got a Gina testimony coming up, don't we? The Reaper's Notebook. Gina's essentially defending Gregson on the accusations of being their hand of the Reaper, so to speak. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was 31st October. It said grouse for the place on that date, and the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. It's the name that sounded odd. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only an established fact here. Shove your personal opinion up your ass. This must be so hard for her. Yeah, really. Can't deny it now, surely. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can I deny? She didn't say anything. The notebook contained the name of the final mark, and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Ah! Man makes a good point. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. I ain't read no Japanese. The name that's written alongside that entry that mentions the grouse on our 31st October. Although when we asked her about it, she didn't recall it. And she couldn't really read it anyways because it wasn't in English. How would you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Otto? Read my mind. You can read my mind just fine. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas? Let me have a bash at it. Se-ish-iro. Is it? Yeah. Seishiro. G-O-Q. Maybe. What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku? But that's Judge Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right. That can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. So he killed the inspector, personally. Okay, that's the game we're playing here. The boat isn't involved. But what's weird is that we know that Baroque Van Zieks went to the Grouse Club, not the Grouse ship. So Van Zieks made the same mistake that the prosecutor's office made. Reaper, of course, being the accused, Baroque Van Zieks. So this is... How much of this did you... How much of this were you aware of, Kazuma? And how much of this are you just making up by the seat of your pants? Just to follow the through line of the Reaper using Gregson as his hand, killed him when he failed. It's an undeniably logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Hold it? Who's holding it? Baroque? That leg! Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice while I stand accused of murder. No, please, go off, King. Lord Van Zieks! The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. He will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I am the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. Smash. That girl is no detective. Eh? What? No, that's right. I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself, by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance! My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. May it be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. Slap! Add some heft behind it. At once, my lord. Our boy is ready. So we are looking to pursue Van Zieks for his opinion on the readings of the notebook.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not new and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? Hello, Brogue. He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what he found out. If I may, when originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. Simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization, with you at its head. Don't even acknowledge him. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse. Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. Like, Cosmo completely forgetting about that. That confirmed bit of testimony when we started pursuing the grouse is the steamship route. And the name Dagoku in there means that, Would Van Zieks have known about that? Although he didn't see the book necessarily, he'd had people who knew places where Gregson went. Of course, the inspector was not there. As at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's all right. I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Hold it!
Something to do with Asogi. Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in particular? Well, beside the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? Asashin? It's what I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again. You mean... Asashin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Not hardly. Were you even listening yesterday? Asashin. The assassin. How could we have possibly put together that conclusion, given her name? What? Like, a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. And perhaps what it said in the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been? Not her, because she's dead. Clearly the assassin, who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life. Slap. Ina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku? What name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. What? It just had like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating! A nameless assassin. Grouse and the name of the mark.
Hold it!
You're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku? That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. It is odd. Otto. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. Your tutelage. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. Interesting. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after that fateful case? Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. Genshin was a detective. Genshin was a police detective. Jigoku was a judge. Mikitoba was a doctor. He studied medicine and anatomy and medical forensic stuff, and wound up banding together with Sholmes. Genshin wound up banding together with the Van Zieks, till of course he had the Professor crimes pinned on him. The mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here has gotten even worse now. Maybe we'll just keep talking. Criminal got away with in court. What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, but don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. Broke the bench. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and accidentally managed to break the witness stand. Accidentally. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the Professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make repatriation for the damage caused by the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. But there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. Huh? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Asogi. Man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. Reaper had no time to do his work. Then, 10 years later, the Mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd, to take someone's life for that. Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond the sane person's comprehension. But... Gina? Right, I've had just about enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Otto. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? Huh? You gotta find a flaw. You do, usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please. For the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? I've had it with a lot of you. It's lies every bleeding place you look in this world, isn't it? Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. With that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination, and something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh? Do you mean? Let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Oh boy. What do we make of this? I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. You helped me find the resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Battle drop number 2. What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. How'd you know about the case? That's the thing that you seem to react to. What? An inconsistency? Really, Otto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... It was you, right?
Take that!
Why you, Cosma Asogi? Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. We only presented the passport. We didn't present the case it came in. Very well then, Counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency as something Prosecutor Asogi has said? Gotta be that. This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain, and a relatively fresh one, too. What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it. Me, with me nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Oh? And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, customer. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked to the northern coast of France. I shown him the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. The question is, how don't you know all about the victim inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
You knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... I had considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it could only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in this courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma? Are you challenging me to prove it, beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there, with Gregson. It's a clue that you overlooked, a secret that the trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it. I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. I was gonna say, it's been long enough that I'm, like, familiar with some points of some of this game. I'm very much blind on a lot of this case. I'm not gonna lie, there's a few points I know about. But this stretch, I'm no clue. The events will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where's the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? This tells me that the lid was open.
Got it!
This is your proof. What do you say to that, Prosecutor Asogi? Personally, I think tying the defense counsel to the inspector's trunk and tossing it into the sea would be more helpful. Oh, fuck you. What? At least that way, London's courtrooms will be safe from his destructive accusations. Maybe there's a rather long-winded way of telling you that you're wrong, Mr. Naruhodo. Very well, then let us see if you sink or swim under the weight of this penalty, counsel. Mr. Naruhodo, you can't allow yourself to be drowned at sea yet. I was hoping that never let that happen, funnily enough. I pointed at the fucking thing. I was looking exactly at this. Let's have a look inside. This dark stain here. Alright, I want to... Maybe we're supposed to actually... Oh, wait. See this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged. Whoever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. Wonder how it happened. It's definitely a metal chunk of something here. You see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. Glinting. Looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. It's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Don't cut yourself. Better leave it, I think.
Got it!
There we go. I didn't actually notice that before. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. Huh? A blade? The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Kazuma, slung across your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it? Here in this courtroom. For all to see. It also has your, like, fucking British prosecutor blade, so you could try that too. Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man, the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. It won't be necessary. Oh, fuck. Oh, no! The tip is broken. The fragment of metal for the trunk fits together with the end of the sword. The question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed. Kazuma Asogi? Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. You did tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi. Yes, on 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the monk. What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. There was the telegram at the end of Case 5 in the first game with Asogi, Gregson, and Asashin, and I forget what the fourth name was. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. We're never going to do it. To believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London. The following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the Channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin. Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anybody's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house? In Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. Met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure. causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger. Despite none of that lining up, and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. Yeah, you kinda do. I mean, I suppose you don't technically can't be legally compelled to answer it until we prove that it's directly connected to Gregson's murder. Like, we need to prove that Gregson was killed on the boat in order to actually compel you to answer that question, I suppose. It was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't irrelevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. Alright, court record acquired. We must take immediate action now to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zieks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order! Order in the court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests at the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. Man can't be located within half an hour. We will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku. No one would have killed a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that had slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake. My lord? Sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Ah! What is adjourned for 30 minutes? Well? The fuck do we do now? Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. It is as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either. On the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. Something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku. And I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. With a strange sensation that we were careening toward a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. What of options? Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear? Of course! Little Mr. Sholmstall that Iris gave us. For some reason, you completely ran out of options in the trial today. You just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? clearly going to be the most important choice we have. This is one of Iris's inventions. Don't tell me what might happen. All I know, it could cause a huge explosion. Not sure you should be thinking like that, Mr. Naruhodo. Compared to the trial ending immediately after this recess, a huge explosion might be preferable. I'm not sure you should be thinking like that, Miss Susato. I suppose you're right. If there was ever a time for taking a risk, it's now. There it goes then. I'm gonna do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave. Ow! That scream. It sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow. Here. It's that Phil doll talking. Pull these again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll pull all my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? And he's magically put his clothes back on. Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place. Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective. Decided to perfection. Well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow. Miss Susato, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Oh, are we the POV character? Mikitoba's the POV character? Oh, there you are, Mr. Mikitoba. You may remember that it was, in fact, I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined that notebook, I recalled my steamship ticket. Well, of course it was, my dear fellow. Not once did I controvert that fact. We merely had our court-bound companions under my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We just entered a recess. The trial resumes 30 minutes from now. If we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say. Not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That'll be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow! I shan't be hearing anything if you keep plugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operated in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. Thinks it's cute. Down to business then. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half an hour. We have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. Don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Big Toba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Oh. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. Reskinned man with blonde hair. Crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Why are you loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, well, who are you? Do not recognize world-traveling great sailor? Great sailor. Chicken stroganoff when you see one! The fucking sailor man from Case 1, Chapter 2 was beef stroganoff. It doesn't have to be beef. Great detective. Ah, I don't think so. Why is my name on your arm? Do you see that, Mikitoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. 31045. 523104. Goodness me, is that a tattoo? That says Sholmes. It could also be numbers reversed. The H looking like a... First I was thinking the H was an upside down Y, but the H might be an upside down 4. To make this 1045, 31045. That E could be a 2, 2, 3, 4, and the last S could be a 5. 5231045. I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now. How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world by a Russian steamship, in fact. Oh, how could you know this? Eventually, my dear Mikitoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. Looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with this name on board. Baka. But we know that they purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. He had a Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Seishiro has realized that we're after him, has he? Oh, he does have something to hide. His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I've orders not to even let Mouse inside. Mikitoba, be a good man and draw the set's attention away, would you? I give some excuse so that he leaves the area. Well, I'm not going to do it now, little man. Doesn't great detectives see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? 2 of them. One on either side of my head. Curses! The plan is ruined. And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikitoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock. Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How can I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? You distract that birdie sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man. So, the game is afoot. He's like a Nio Temple Guardian statue, this fella, the way he's glaring at us so fiercely. Tell me, why are you standing guard here if the cabin is unoccupied? Because this area is only for first-class passengers. We must look out for suspicious criminals. He was looking straight at me when he said that. My dear fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go. But still criminals. No, for goodness sake, Sholmes, tell the man. We're neither suspicious nor criminals. Oh yes, quite right, Mikitoba. Curses, this seaman is far too able for his own good. Be extremely careful in what you say. One of us ought to be, yes. What's this? Must be a mousetrap, I think. So I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow. Try it. Choo! That sounds like Big Mouse in Trap. Choo! I will bring bucket of water later and put out of misery. I don't like the sound of that. In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a chew sound. Oh, really, Sholmes? And pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make? Pee. Pee. Naturally. Though also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. So go ahead, Mikitoba. Do a pee-pee this time. No, thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution. Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. What if I were to turn off the lights? The crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we were doing. Like the switch. Ah, what is happening? Where is light? Now, Sholmes, now! I can't see. I can't see either, my good friend. Nobody there. That was a close shave. What a knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor. Be quiet, Sholmes. I still have to think of another approach. That's the way back to the deck. We certainly can't get up this now. What is this? It's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another around the ship. We just persuade our stocky sailor friend that he needed to use it. Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how? It's not another first-class cabin, and yet its door was completely unguarded. Empty as well. Had a quick look inside earlier. I'll confess I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. You're referring to Naruhodo. You know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Does it not strike you there, Mikitoba? Why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin when both are apparently vacant? Can we pop in and see? This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Okay, we ball. Here it goes then. Pardon me in advance. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. You! What are you doing? If you were at sea, that would be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff. Report at once. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just a stupid trick. No, not by me. By world famous no, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now. Done. You got 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gulping at my brilliance, Mikitoba. In we go. Oh, yes. Oh, damn. Good gracious. It appeared that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there, they're Seishiro's, without question. It seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. May well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. That burly crewman may turn at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may. Make this all the more thrilling. Whoa. Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it is something wrong. Sholmes, you suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikitoba. Ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner after all. Where have we heard something about high-level refrigeration being required before? They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikitoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. There's a speaking tube here. Look, though it's been stopped with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Oh, indeed, so that voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? Eh, the speckled ban. According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was. It was of a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb in yourself, my dear fellow. What? Whatever for? It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, late with my dramatic rhetoric. Go along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. Really, Sholmes, surely you could just tell me what you said. Well, I heard something brilliant from Mark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think I'll just read about it in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. When Iris inevitably tells the tale. It's the waste paper basket, look, and there's still rubbish inside. Indeed, let us pry. I discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper basket. Sincerely hope only for your own work, for your work. Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London, then, when I was still aboard myself. Evacuation drill. Ah, yes, there was an evacuation drill, I remember now. For safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watch of the crew. It was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and/or travel cases. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What the fact that they're not straight in the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. You know what I always say, Mikitoba? There is nothing important about trifles. They're just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. There's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. Overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown. Ohiki work trousers, a Tanzan robe, a haramaki waistband, and clearly the clothing of a Japanese man. And clearly Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe. Looks to me as though they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry. Indeed. You could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few. And very likely drowned in one of Seishiro's shirts. No, just buy any extras I need, I think. Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. Found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say. Whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, my dear fellows. But it's just me. But no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible. The Bible. I shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me. You're a true missionary of the Church of Great Detectives, aren't you? Walls are slightly different color just here. Do you see? Indeed. What you have observed advises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Well, there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. It may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. We perhaps should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. It is as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. Oh, I can't actually look at my court record here. I was saying before the trial segment, I had no clue what all that consisted of, but this I'm looking forward to. This I'm excited for. The doors in this vessel have locks, I believe. A wise idea. You never know where or when the criminals may strike. Of course, the great detective Herlock Sholmes. Lock, bolt, or shirt button, it makes no difference. All are unfastened with equal ease. When you go on, you sound rather more like a great thief than a great detective. My dear Mikitoba, as long as there is greatness, I am quite satisfied. Ah, of course you are. Lastly, it's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seshido is partial to hold things large. And a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he had left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity, it's locked, so we can't look inside. 25 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different, though. Sadly not. It's a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Oh, the shipman has the combination written on his arm. It just happens to spell Sholmes upside down. That's clever. You are still here. Ah, Able Seaman Stroganoff. Hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. Eh? You are waiting for me. Of course. I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with the captain because of trick you played before. Oh, it isn't chicken. It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off. Now. Alright, we're being kicked off. That's the end of it. Goodbye, everybody. It is all over. Surely nothing epic is going to happen next video. Until next time, until